Yet here at the Verity Outlet, formerly the Redeeming Truth Libraries at redeemingtruth.com, we feel obligated to teach people the truth, as verity means truth. We constantly hear of the misfortunes of other people, primarily from third world nations, but we're withheld from being informed on our own heritage in the people of Europe. The last century had the slaughter of 200 million Christians from European heritage, including numerous genocide campaigns. Yet only the Holocaust is taught in our school systems or depicted on television programs. Massive genocide campaigns are currently being orchestrated against the Christians in the Middle East, including within Israel, at least mistreatment within Israel. And now it's spilled into Europe through the deliberate importation of Middle Eastern and African adult males, along with propaganda outlets which inspire rape of young white European females. In Germany, it's simply known as the rape frenzy, though these issues have spread throughout the whole of Europe. Police and military, including NATO, have been utilized to combat the European protesters, and the more a nation has people who are keen to what's occurring against them, as in France, the more and more third world immigrants are imported to break up the unity and intelligence of the people. Additionally, more mainstream media has been employed in nations like France, while an all-out war on independent media has been raised. Mainstream media outlets in America want to tell the American populace that the European people are welcoming with open arms these migrants into their communities. But this is not the truth. Yes, a small percentage of the liberals there are brainwashed into believing that the people who are inspiring this are doing this for humanitarian needs, although they are simply brainwashing them and tricking them into breaking down unity and destroying the heritages of their people.
Europe is not going to be the monolithic societies that they once were in the last century. Jews are going to be at the center of that. It's a huge transformation for Europe to make. They are now going into a multicultural mode, and Jews will be resented because of our leading role. But without that leading role and without that transformation, Europe will not survive.
What unbelievable arrogance displayed by this woman. This next video depicts a pro-EU Israeli woman who responds with abstract words, trickery terms like racist and xenophobic.
Since then, an unholy alliance of leftists, capitalists and Zionist supremacists has schemed to promote immigration and miscegenation with the deliberate aim of breeding us out of existence in our own homelands. First, their immigrant pawns were temporary guest workers. Then it was a multiracial experiment. Then they were refugees. Then the answer to a shrinking population. Different excuses, different lies. But the real aim stays the same. The biggest genocide in human history.
Really ashamed of the racist and xenophobic terms. Is your policy serious, or are you just shouting?
Mr. Griffin.
It's you that's shouting, because obviously the truth hurts. I have a constructive suggestion to help those poor asylum seekers from Africa. Yes, make it clear they can't come here, so they don't try to cross the sea and drown in huge numbers. The best way for them is to get the banks off the backs of their countries so they can live in peace in their countries, and we Europeans can live in peace in ours. Thank you.
Hungary has been on the front lines of Europe's migrant crisis for years now, and Hungarians are tired of it. Today, a tough new law came into force there, giving border authorities new power to detain asylum seekers indefinitely and house them in converted shipping containers until their cases are heard. The UN says the measure is illegal. The country's hardline prime minister, Viktor Orban, says it'll save Europe.
Mindaddig napirenden marad, amíg mindenhol be nem látják, hogy a migráció a terrorizmus trójai falova.
Most of the migrants here are actually trying to pass through to more prosperous European countries. But to the Hungarian government, it doesn't matter. And the new law sends a clear message to would-be border crossers. Don't try it.
I'm warning you that you're at the Hungarian border. I'm warning you to hold back from committing this crime.
Tehát a teljes szerb határszakaszon kiépítették ezt a biztonsági határzárat, 174 kilométeren, több százan próbáltak meg átjutni, és szükség volt arra, hogy ezt a védelmet erősítsük, és legyen egy erősebb.
At the height of the refugee crisis in 2015, up to 13,000 people were crossing the border into Hungary every day. Now, barbed wire fencing, armed patrols and cameras means very few make it in.
You have police patrolling the border, and when refugees or migrants try and cross over, you apprehend them. Can you tell me what the process is?
Amennyiben mégis sikerül nekik átlépni, akkor a kollégáink feltartóztatják őket, majd visszakísérik a legközelebbi kapuhoz, és ott kiléptetik őket magyar területre. Én azt gondolom, hogy a jelenlegi rendszerünk biztosítja a Magyarország és egyben az Európai Unió határának biztonságát.
Despite this, 2 new levels of security will make things even more difficult for migrants. A second barrier is being built by inmates from a local prison at a cost of more than $130 million. And the new law will now mean that all migrants and refugees, including women and children over 14, will be held in shipping containers like these, instead of camps, indefinitely. There'll be 324 in total, and people in existing camps may now be moved into them. They won't be allowed to leave unless their applications are successful. The reality is that most will be rejected, and when that happens, they'll be sent back across the border.
Hungary's Prime Minister, Viktor Orban, is characterized as a right-wing conservative. I personally know little concerning his political ideology, but I'm feeling confident deeming him a hero to all the European peoples. Unquestionably, I'm worried in regards to his safety, thereafter confronting the EU, a powerful wing of the New World Order enterprise. Thus, the EU media machine has villainized Orban as a communist, a man seeking heightened levels of state control over many aspects of Hungarian government and society. One influential man who's been outspoken against Orban, labeling him a communist, has been George Soros, who's also from Budapest. Likewise, Orban has verbally attacked Soros, who's a well-known New World Order figure. Soros jumped on the fall of communism in Hungary, being heavily involved in privatization and new open market opportunities. Soros has become an extremely rich man with powerful allies. For myself, it's not an onerous decision deciding which one of these men is a demon and which is the humanitarian. Now, let's analyze the situation in Rome and Italy, which has become a haven for migrants coming from Libya. Within Italy, the authorities even transported some of the migrants, giving them protection after repeated attacks by citizens, as the citizens are accusing the mayor and protesting out in the streets, accusing him of abandoning the suburbs, as migrants are now flooding into the suburb. And I mean, these people are literally at war with each other. It's unbelievable. Was a nation affected by the 2008 economic crisis just as much as America. It resulted in massive cutbacks, tax hikes, massive layoffs, and privatization of lands and organizations, everything. Also, sharply, economic inequality has increased. It's created a so-called lost generation of young people, poorly educated, unemployed, and locked into low-paying part-time jobs. The financially elite over there are allowed to get away with these attacks on the Italian people because of the massive debt that they forced Italy into, as one of the largest debt ratios in the European Union. Over 20% of Italians admit to being anti-Semitic, which the real number must be much greater than that. But the European Union has hit them hard and forced them into huge immigration since 2008. Thousands of protesters have hit the street in Belgium to challenge the European Union's stance on immigration. Here we bear witness to demonstrations directly in front of the EU building, and sure enough, the police inclined to the violence of a water truck. This scene resembles a protest video from China.
We need to work until we are 67 years old. It's not normal. And they throw the money for the immigrants who will not serve our country. Then they don't respect our country, so why we do need to pay them?
Others don't like
If you think they're expensive now, wait to see how fast they multiply within a few generations.
The Europe is dead because of the politics, because of the European Union and this Commission building that signed this compact contract for the immigration. That means that the European people will be dead in our home. So no, we want our home back.
Here in Czechoslovakia, you're going to see lots of anti-EU and anti-Islamic flags, face paint. They get creative. They even make T-shirts. I mean, these people are making a strong statement. You know, they're not stupid. They're not taking in women and children, refugees from war zones created by America and Israel anyways. But it's all adult male migrants. You know, they have the right to live in their own country, their own neighborhoods. Remember the first video I put out with the Greek girl claiming that they were in their houses?
Want to kill each other. You have to do something. Someone has to protect us. They are in our house. We are the victims. We are not them. We have to live like before. We have to live our life. They took it for us. We're nothing more. They are. They have to take them from here. It's a city. No place for people like them.
ولكنهم فقدوا إقصابهم ويبحثون عن إقصاب عندنا ننجب منهم لأننا سوف نفتح بلادهم.
Now, even if it was women and children, why would they take them in? America went to Afghanistan, really the CIA and mercenaries, to control the opiate trade because the Taliban wouldn't allow it to occur. So why are the Afghanis being transported to Europe? They should go to another Muslim country. Really, they should go to America before Europe. Also, many of the people are coming from the southern Syrian neighborhoods, which Israel recently ethnically cleansed as they extended their border further into Syria, taking advantage of the chaotic scene occurring in Syria. Some come from within the Palestinian territories within Israel itself, though it appears many of them just simply disappear. Of course, so many migrants have also been Africans, mostly Somalians, but whatever the case, the majority of Europeans want nothing to do with these migrants, and they want nothing to do with the corrupt European Union.